Well, here it is, the Xiaomi 12T Pro, Xiaomi's latest smartphone within the affordable flagship segment, which honestly I think is extremely interesting because you get a lot of great features at a pretty affordable price. But the main highlight of this device is actually its cameras. But before we get to that, let's do a quick unboxing. Now, as I mentioned, the Xiaomi 12T Pro is an affordable flagship device from Xiaomi, which means it does have some of the best specs on the market with a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 and up to 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage. But this model here has 8 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes. As far as this display goes, you get a 6.67-inch display with a Quad HD Plus resolution, which honestly is really good for a device at this price point because this phone is roughly selling for 700 to 750 euro across Europe and the equivalent in Asian markets as well. But the main highlight here is that main sensor on the back of the phone. It is a brand new 200 megapixel sensor on the back for that main camera, which is a huge step up over the 108 megapixel sensor that you get on the regular Xiaomi 12T and also other Xiaomi devices that were released earlier this year. It's paired with an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 120 degree field of view and then a 2 megapixel macro camera, which honestly I don't know why it's even there. And then up front you have a 20 megapixel selfie camera as well. Now that main camera can record 8K video, though we're going to be showing off video samples at 4K resolution, but that selfie camera up front at 20 megapixels is still just limited to 1080p. On the inside of the phone, you also get a 5,000 milliamp hour battery that's paired with Xiaomi's 120 watt fast charging, which is insanely fast, and should be able to charge the phone from 0 to 100 in just 19 minutes. So now that we've gotten the unboxing and the specifications of the Xiaomi 12T Pro out of the way, let's go out and take some photos and videos with this device to see how it performs in everyday use and see if that 200 megapixel camera is actually any good. This year's look at video capture, starting off with the ultra wide camera. And I've said this before on other Xiaomi camera tests, I really don't like how you can't simply jump from one sensor to the other. Instead you have a zoom bar on the edge, which does give you a pretty smooth zooming in and out, but if you want to quickly switch between one lens and the other, you're left with the zoom bar, which isn't really what I want. does have 8K video capture from that main sensor on the back of the phone and 4K video capture from the ultra wide as well. You still only have 1080p video from this selfie camera. It can go up to 60 frames per second. I'm shooting at 30 FPS right now. But honestly, I really don't know why so many manufacturers still decide to skip 4K video from their selfie cameras. Now, despite the fact that you don't get 4K resolution out of this front-facing camera on the Xiaomi 12T Pro, I do have to say the overall video quality and the photos themselves actually turn out quite well. It's not as good as what you can get on a Google Pixel device, even the Pixel 6a, even though that's a much lower resolution selfie camera, but it actually is really good. And if you have to compare it to other devices within this price category, definitely the 12T Pro is the way to go. I'm starting things off with a 2x zoom on that main sensor in low light. This actually does incredibly well in these types of conditions. and switching over to just a 1x with that main sensor, and then out to the ultra wide. You can definitely see there's a big difference in the amount of light that's captured from the ultra wide sensor to that main camera. It's definitely a lot smaller, letting in a lot less light. Here you can see walking to the car, it looks completely dark, but I'm going to zoom in to that main sensor at 1x, and then it just appears right there as if out of nowhere. Definitely a lot better for these types of situations. As you can probably imagine, I'm not really a fan of capturing video with that selfie camera, even during the day, just because of that 4K or the lack of 4K resolution being capped at 1080p. But as you can see, in situations like this, it's not really ideal either. So I'm going to switch over to that main camera to show you what the real difference is between that selfie camera and that 200 megapixel sensor. And there you have it. This is the main camera on the back of the phone, that 200 megapixel sensor pointed straight at me to capture as much light as possible in these situations. And as you can see, because that sensor is so much larger, the scene is a lot brighter. And also with that larger sensor, that also means you get a shallower depth of field. And as you can see, the background behind me should be blurry. So Let me know what you think of the Xiaomi 12T Pro and how the cameras are doing on this device. I would say for a $700-ish smartphone, it actually has a really good camera system. It just would have been nice to see an extra real zoom camera on the back rather than having a digital crop on that main sensor. Let me know what you guys think of the results in the comments below and whether or not you think this is good enough for your day-to-day photos and videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.